So you're thinking of moving to New England? Really? I have 11 reasons why you don't want to do that. Reason number one, lake ghost and river whale. So the thing is that if you live by a lake, a river, a pond, you are going to hear the cold ghosts or the night whales. Seriously. What happens is in the middle of the night when it gets down to zero and below zero, you start to hear, if you live by a lake, a river, a pond where there's big layers of ice, you'll hear the sounds of like ghosts or cracking or like whales. Seriously, you would think that you were in a Finding Nemo movie. You'll hear these sounds. And what happens is when you're on a lake, the level of the water underneath the ice, and keep in mind the ice here gets down to 2 to 3 feet thick. And this ice, the level of the water underneath the ice changes. And so as it's moving up and down, there needs to be a reciprocating action from the layer of ice. And that movement of water, you're talking about a lake that's 7 miles long. Something has got to give. And so reason number one are the ghosts, the cold ghost, the night whales. You'll hear them. Reason number two, square tires. I kid you not. When it is below freezing, your car tires get stiff and they maintain the shape that they're in when you park it. And that little flat area that is underneath on where the tire, the weight of the car is pressing down on the tire and it's folding in that little fold when your car is 30 below zero or zero around, when it's cold, that tire maintains the shape. And as you start moving, that flat area goes foom, 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 foom. And it's worse if you have low tire pressure, so because the area is bigger, and so you get the foom, 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 and I mean it wears out as you get going. Your tire gets warmer, and as it gets warmer, of course, that goes away. But every morning, can you imagine having four square tires, bop, 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 your car is doing bop, bop, bop like this? So that's reason number two. Reason number three, snowing sideways. Can you even see me? Reason three is it snows sideways. Seriously, you look at these postcards of New England, right? And it's this pretty fluffy snow, and it's lazily drifting down. Ah, that's so pretty, but that only happens in like Fairfield County, Connecticut, or Newton, Mass, or Cape Elizabeth, Maine, in the pretty communities. That's it. That's the only place. Everywhere else in New England, it snows sideways. You're asking why? I'm going to tell you why. Why? It's because what happens is when there's a low pressure and it starts snowing, a message is sent to Alberta. Send the wind and cold. That's the message. To make it worse, Manitoba and Newfoundland join in and they squeeze their cold into Quebec, where it turns into this icy, frosty, finger-freezing wind, and it's sent down into New England without any duty, wholesale price. It comes just ripping right into New England. And that brings us reason number four, snowcrete. Yes, I said that. Not concrete, snowcrete. Here's why. This reason number four is snowcrete. You see, that Quebec wind slides through those snow molecules and it just pounds those, it slings those, and it flips them and into all these little catchy places like fences and parked cars and railroad beds and driveways and more parked cars and tree lines and lawn ornaments and more parked cars and propane tanks, and it gets caught up in all of these places. And the snow becomes like concrete because it's just pounded. It hits so hard it just compacts the snow, and it makes like a snow concrete. It's like snowcrete, if you will. And it gets into those resting, clingy places, and it hangs in there tighter than Nancy Pelosi's grip on power.
Reason number 5, snice. That's right, snice. You've never heard it before. Snice.
Now, reason number 5 is this is like a horror show. I don't know why you'd want to come up here. I'm going to call it snice. That word doesn't exist. It does here, though. One of the greatest horror shows in winter is when those pretty little innocent snowflakes start mixing with rain and freezing rain. It becomes this frozen snow ice, or like snice. It is. I mean, this stuff will warp and break even the best of the Walmart ice scrapers. And the only proper way to handle this, if you get up in the morning, you're going to get up in the morning and you're going to have to go to work. And when you go out to your car and there's a 1/4 inch of ice, seriously, what are you going to do? You're going to have to call the boss and say, look, I've got snice on the car. I've got 1/4 inch of ice sitting there. And he's going to like, oh yeah, she's going to go, yeah, I understand. Take a couple hours, warm up your car, drink your coffee, come on in whenever you get here. Welcome to pre-COVID, post-COVID, COVID, yeah, welcome. Yeah. You want to come to Maine. You want to come to New England, sure. Okay.
Reason number 6, your mailbox.
Mailbox removal. Yeah, really. Mailbox removal. You see, down in Lake Susie, Florida, you never have to worry about this jacked up, over caffeinated, sleep deprived plow driver. A person who has been driving all night with hands wet on the wheel. A person who competes with the other drivers to put a mark on their locker for every mailbox they've taken out. It's like, hey, I got 3 this trip. Yeah, oh man, I only got 2. The Smiths moved theirs. Yeah, every time it snows, New Englanders, we all tense up. Is the mailbox going to be there in the morning? And then when you get up in the morning and you look out, you go like, hey, look at this. Look, the mailbox is still here. And everybody celebrates. Hey. All right, that's number 6.
Reason number 7, rafter snappers, porch pops, and house shifts.
Yeah, you don't think so. Last night it was 7 below zero here in Bangor, Maine. 7 below zero. I mean, seriously. Throughout the night, you could hear this. See, what happens is the temperature gets so cold it contracts your house, and all the different materials of the house contract at different rates. And the colder it is, the more the contraction is there and the tension's in there. And then finally, about 2 or 3 in the morning, you're laying there, and then all of a sudden you'd swear a flock of rhinoceroses just landed on your roof, or on your deck, or on your garage. Get this. The older the house, the worse the problem. Seriously, I was watching my cat this morning, and like I said, it was about 7 below zero. I'm watching my cat. His name's Moxie. He's a cool dude. He owns the house. We're his servants. And Moxie's just kind of like, oh, there's sun coming through the window, a sunbeam, and he goes lays down. But the house, the contraction, it sounded like a small plane ran. No, I'm exaggerating, but see, it sounded like a sledgehammer. It's that loud. A sledgehammer hits the side of the house, and he jumps and he looks like, what was that? Intruder alert! Get the dogs! That's below him to alert, but he's looking and he's concerned. This is what we go through. So you think you want to move to New England, but you'd better rethink this because you're going to lose sleep. These rafter snappers and deck jumps and house shifts. So there you go.
Reason number 8 has 3 reasons, so it's actually going to be 8, 9, and 10, but all under the umbrella of frost. Here's a little gift for you. I was trying to explain to my Guatemala teacher. She teaches me Spanish. Habla español. And I was trying to explain frost going into the ground to someone in Guatemala where the average temperature is like probably 75 degrees. It's the land of eternal spring. Yeah. Reason 8, frost. The rocks. What happens is the frost goes down into the ground and somehow it gets in underneath rocks. And every year it lifts it up and it lifts it up and it lifts it up. And rocks come out in the strangest of places. You'll be driving your lawnmower in the spring, and then out of nowhere up pops this rock that came from the Sahara. See, you didn't know this, but in the Sahara Desert, they used to be all rocks. All those rocks, and they came up here in New England. The frost just pulls them. Some were sent down to Tennessee, I get that. But Maine, we've got the market. New England, we've got the market. Vermont, you ask them about rocks coming out of the ground. They come out of the ground. Even New Hampshire, it's bad. It's bad. Rocks. Frost, rocks. Number 8 is frost and roads. The frost moves roads. And it heaves the roads, and it buckles the roads, and it cracks the roads. And here's a real bizarre thing that you folks down south never even thought about. When there's a spring underneath and the frost gets down to that, it pops. And your nice road, all of a sudden, there's like a spring in the middle of the winter. And what happens in the winter? Yeah, frost heaves, water, spring, black ice, and then all of a sudden your car gets destroyed. Black ice, bad combination. Number 10, frost and culverts.
Reason number 10 is the culverts. It's these tubes that you stick under the ground so that the water on that side of the road passes to that side of the road. And these culverts are affected by the frost. Now, look, those of you from Burnt Corn, Alabama, you have never driven down Sand Bottom Road. Never have you ever driven down there and had a rusty old culvert just pop out of the ground and slice your biased ply tire and sending you into this deadly solo pit maneuver. You've never had that happen. Because you're down there where there's beautiful sun, where there's temperatures and it's warm. You think about moving up here. This will. Why would you even consider that? You're probably walking around in your shorts down there. Reason number 11 is the birds. All right, here's the rub. This is the rub. In the winter, my son, who lives in Atlanta, calls me. In the winter, my brother, who winters in Florida, calls me. And they call and they'll look at the weather forecasts. 7 below in Bangor. Let's call Mark and see what he's up to. And so they'll call me, and in the background, you know what I hear? I hear nothing like what I hear presently right now. See, we don't hear it. Down there, you hear birds. All in your beautiful Burnt Corn, Alabama, or down there in Florida, you're just enjoying the sounds of all of these birds tweeting away. Lazy Susie, Lake Susie, Lake Susie, Florida. You're just loving the sound of all those birds. Here, now, do you know what we hear? This crusty old crow, caw, caw, caw. And if you've got good hearing and maybe a bird feeder, yeah, you can catch the grunt of a nuthatch or maybe the adorable peep of a chickadee and their little whistle. That's their spring song. But that's it. All these the birds and their beautiful songs, they all head south. Yeah, you've got them down there. Why would you come to New England?
I've got a bonus story for you. I used to live up in northern Maine. It's where I met my wife. She's from there. We're not there now. So the weatherman came on one day, and the weatherman says, "You're not going to believe this. It's going to be 40 degrees below zero." And I'd never seen temperature. I've seen 35 and 32 below, and that was enough. But this was going to be one of those days. Our thermometer up there goes to 60 below zero, so there's no margin of error here. When it says 40 or 30, whatever below, that's what it is. The next morning I get up and I look out at the thermometer. What is it reading? 42 below zero. 42! And so start getting dressed, and my wife is saying, "What are you doing?" I said, "I have never seen this before." And so I go outside, 42 below zero still, just no wind, just crisp. And you could hear sounds in the woods, sounds everywhere, popping little cracks here and here, and the nature is saying, "This isn't normal, get me to Georgia." And it was cold. I was out there for a little while, and your nose, it feels like you're snorting bleach, Coca-Cola, and red pepper. It's just your nose is in high alert. This is no good. And so I go inside and I give my wife a look. You know, the husband-wife look you have, and you go like... So I gave her this look, and she responds like a perfect wife and says, "What?" And I said, "It's 42 below zero outside." And she's saying, yeah, I know that. We know that." "What?" I said, "It's 42 below zero. Do you know what that means? The other side of this door, it's 42 below zero. It's 70 in here. Put this into perspective. That is 112 degrees below room temperature.